Well, hey fellas, um, welcome back. And I haven't made a video in a while, but something crossed my mind, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I I had some time yesterday morning, so I went out to the garage and I fired up the 550, and I wanted to go ahead and make some round nose 45. And so, anyway, so there I was, and I had to load some primer tubes. So I'm looking around my bench. No primers. I don't have any. I don't have any large pistol primers. So, I go ahead and I go up to the storage place. I have a special place where I keep them, and I went ahead and pulled out a sleeve that I had in storage, and I had to open a brand new sleeve to get some large pistol primers. So, kind of the moral of the story here is, there's an acronym, and it's called BOAT, B-O-A-T, and I have a boat. What's the definition of a boat? It's a place where there's a hole in the ocean that you throw money. Okay, so I have a very practical boat, by the way. It's just an aluminum, 15-foot, good day, out on the sound out there, fishing boat, and also I can take the motor off of it and put an electric motor on it so I can go in all the lakes. So anyway, I digressed. So anyway, BOAT also stands for break out another 1,000. And that's what I had to do. And to tell you the truth, guys, it was kind of hard. When I went out and I flipped my little knife open and I cut away the tape and I flipped open the box and I seen, 5 of these all in a row, 5,000 primers. I thought, I got to break out another 1,000 here. And so I did. Now, what I'm trying to go with this is a little bit of advice. Now, during the time, back in the late 80s, early 90s, we went through the same thing, okay? And I'm going to tell you a little story here. I'm not going to try to waste your time. But my brother did not have any primers. I had maybe 500 of these and 500 of those and, 300 of these and, 400 of those and, different brands and that sort of thing. And he calls me up and he wants to buy some primers from me because he doesn't have any. And this is back when back then were going through the same thing. Primers were just through the roof, absolutely through the roof. Big shortage, everybody's hoarding, that sort of thing. So I told him, I said, I can go ahead and sell you a couple hundred of these or a couple hundred of those or, whatever you want. But, I'm down on my supply too. So he kind of got miffed at me, and he just, was very sharp, and he hung up. I realized that it can be frustrating, okay? And the next time I seen him, I asked him if he was able to get some primers. He says, yeah, I did. Okay. He says, yep, went out. I don't care what they cost. I want them. And that's how much they cost. I said, well, how much did you pay for a brick? He was like, I paid $95. Well, how many bricks did you buy? I bought 8 of them. And I went, wow. I mean, it just kind of shocked me that he blew through, all that money to buy those primers. And then I had to think, I'm not him. It's his money, whatever. And I said, man, that's kind of stiff for me. And he turned around and he took that kind of derogatory. And I believe what happened was that he thought I was being derogatory. And he says, thing is, I've got them and you don't. And, especially when he said, that's what matters at the end of the day. Just remember that. And I went, okay, all right, whatever, I got a feeling that he was mad at himself too for paying so much money for those, but he was insanely driven to not be without primers. You know, it just finally drove him to the point where he didn't care what they cost. He was going to buy them, and he was going to buy as many as he could. So that goes on to the subject. I see a lot of people out there, okay, and they're paying money for primers. That is insane prices. However, I'm not them. I don't have their needs. If you find primers, go ahead and pick them up. Shop around. There's a lot of help out there, you know, with trying to find the best prices. I believe that the primer shortage is gonna, you know, it's gonna fizzle out. And then the next thing you know, primers will start coming down in prices. Now that's only gonna happen if people finally wake up to the fact that it's these shysters that are driving up the prices. They want them to stay there. So as long as they can create this shortage, they're going to go ahead and make money off it. Now I'm going to tell you, back in the late 80s and early 90s, we went through the same thing with primers. And I don't know if you remember or not, if you go back that far, but we had the same thing with 223 bullets. You know, 223, 224 diameter, 55 grain, whatever. You just could not get 5.56, you know, projectiles. There wasn't any. We went through that and that shortage. And then there was the big 22 shortage that we went through. Just went through with the Obama thing, okay? Shortage, okay? So, you know, I've seen this happen over and over and over and over and over again. 9mm bullets one time. Shortage. You know what? I don't buy it anymore, okay? I don't buy it. I'm not going to line up and listen to that crap, because that's exactly what it is. These are created shortages so that, you know, even the ammunition company like Federal came out and they had a little video, or whoever it was, Remington or whatever, and they got this guy and he's like walking through the factory, we're cranking out as much as we can and 3 times as much, and there's 7 million more, you know, gun owners out there, we're trying to fulfill this need, blah blah blah, and he's going on and on. I'm going to tell you what, between the manufacturers, we can outproduce the rest of the world in our ammunition production, period. We have enough, you know, resources here, factories here, to keep that going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There is no shortage. There is no shortage. Quit believing that. Stop it. You know, just stop it. This guy that was some sort of CEO for this company that went and said that and made that video, he had some valid points, and yes, they're all backable. I mean, he can back that up. But the thing is, though, is that let's just take them out. Okay, so now you got Winchester and Remington. Okay, what about Aguila? What about, Arms Corp? You know, I remember back in the day when you could buy PMC primers. What about they're not imported anymore. You know, same thing with the Eastern Europe primers that we used to get. I believe that I think you can get you can still get RWS primers, but they're very expensive. You know, those are match primers. That's like buying, Lapua brass. And, that can get crazy. You know, what you're going to pay for those type of primers. I don't believe that there's a big performance advantage in having RWS primers. But anyway, so I'm with you guys. I know what it's like. We're going through a shortage. Break out another 1,000 is a hard thing to do. Okay, I know that. I get it. And I'm not in this whole thing. I mean, when I went out and bought on sale all the primers that I got them for like $116 a sleeve of 5,000 primers. So I bought, I budgeted the money out and bought those and stored them because I'm going to use them. I got into this whole thing back when I first started really hot and heavy shooting on the bullseye circuit because I was going through so much ammunition that I got into the logistics thing of the whole deal, and I said, I'm going to use these, and I don't want to take a break to have to go to the store to buy some, just 1,000 primers from some other lot number or whatever, and, load my ammunition on that and be tied up with that. I just wanted to be able to just, go to my storage area, get another, 1,000 primers and just go about my business. And it pays to stock up when stuff is on sale. I tried to have a video earlier on this, like maybe 2 years ago or a year ago or whatever. No, it was more than that. It was like 2 years ago. And I told you guys about this. And when things are good and everybody's smooth sailing, everybody's like, yeah, that's good advice, Dave. Thanks. I'll keep that in mind. Well, now you know. Now you're going to have to go through the sting, and you're going to know. So next time, the primers come back down, everything settles out. They're probably never going to be the same price as they were. Who knows? Maybe importation, tariffs or whatever, lighten up or whatever. We start being able to import, primers. That will affect the U.S. market, and primers will come back down because they're obviously going to be able to make them cheaper than we can because of their economies. So, you never know. But when the prices come back down, do yourself a favor. Talk to the wife. Don't look at her and demand, but just talk to the wife and just tell her flat out, I enjoy shooting. This is a move that I'm making that's going to save us money. Now, it looks like I'm spending a lot of money, but it's going to save us money because I won't have to go out there and grovel to get, what I need in order to, keep enjoying this. This is something that I plan to do for a long time, even probably for the rest of my life. So, there you go. I think it's money well spent. And I'm trying to pass that advice on to you guys. It's kind of like the 22 shortage we went through, and 22 was just so expensive and so scarce. People were just, gouging and cutting people's throats over it, and they were doing all kinds of stuff. Now, I had 22 on hand, so I didn't really get involved with that. Same thing. I stocked up on it when it was on sale. There you go, But it's a created thing. I refuse to believe that logistically in the United States they can't produce enough ammo. That's absolutely ludicrous to think that way. If there was a shortage on primers, that's all they would make. They would stop production of their ammunition, and all they would make was primers. They would be just doing primers. If there was a shortage, you see, they're not stupid. And it's like what somebody went and mentioned. You got corporate America. They don't want to outproduce this year and sell out on everything and have a real good year, and then next year they don't have a good year because then the shortage is over, right? And people are relaxed and they're not buying the ammo. The stockholders. You got corporate America out there. The stockholders and the investors are going to pull their money out of those companies and they're going to invest in other industries. And you know what? Winchester, Remington, CCI, all these different companies, they're trying to be smart about this, okay? They're trying to be smart. They don't want to overproduce. They don't want to oversell and then have a bad year next year. They don't want to lose money that way. You got to look at it that way. So, anyway, like I said, I went ahead and made some 45 ACP. This is the Lyman bullet. It's the Lyman 225 grain. I'll tell you what, 4.8 grains of bullseye. Excellent. And, there's 100 rounds. What else was I going to do? I was going to say something about that. Oh, yeah. It may not look that great to you, but that group was fired at 50 yards, with one hand, with that bullet. Now, that doesn't look really all that great. Most of my shots are off center, off to the left, but this is all done with one hand at 50 yards. And with work, I could tighten that all up into the 9 and the 10 ring, okay? And believe it or not, my Springfield Armory, RO pistol, I haven't went out there and shot it since I put the new trigger in it. No, wait a minute, I did. I still have to get used to that trigger, but You know, this off center over here is because when I was pulling on the trigger, I was pushing off to the left, and that's why these shots group to the left. Very little from center, but it grouped off the left. Now I made a sight correction, okay, and I brought it over this way. But this is where the gun shoots, okay? This is where my initial shots were. And like I said, I can tighten that group up and bring it into the black. You know, in the 10 ring and the 9 ring. And that's what you need to do when you're shooting 50 yards. 10 shots, 10 minutes, total score of 100. And you just go down there and score it, see how you did, you know? It's challenging, dude. I'm telling you, it really is. But it has a benefit to it. It really does, because when you start shooting like that at 50 yards, and you're starting to get into the scores where you're like shooting like maybe a 90, and then, you know, or an 89, 87, 90, maybe even shoot a 93, 95. You know, that's what you need to do at 50 yards in order to win at the game of the national match, which is a 300 aggregate shoot. You know, you shoot 10 rounds. Slow fire, 10 rounds time fire, and then 10 rounds rapid fire, and the total score will be a 300. You know, that's your distinguished match. That's how you get your DCM or you know, CMP leg points, is in a competition like that for gold. So gold, silver, bronze. Anyway, so there you go. That's my short video. I'm going to go ahead and get this uploaded. I hope you guys are all doing good. I'm doing good, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.